Erza Scarlet, S-Class Mage, 7th Guildmaster, known by her enemies as Titania, and by Jalal as his side bitch. Now, as an anime fan and a proud fanservice connoisseur, you and I both know one universal truth. Anime got some bad like, you can tell when the mangaka had their pen in one hand and their, well, let's just say their other hand wasn't exactly free. But hey, I'm not complaining. That said, Erza, not only she's bad, she's a force to be reckoned with. A character who owns every frame she's in. She's not just a fairy tale staple, she just might be the greatest female anime character ever. And I get it. With the rise of Maki Zenin in JJK, Makima in Chainsaw Man, and the overall glow up of female characters in modern anime, it's easy to think Erza might fade into the crowd. But nah, when you really break it down, not only does she hold her own, she sits at the very top. And here's why. Starting with my first point, Erza Scarlet is proof that being overpowered doesn't have to ruin a character. In most battle anime, when someone is too strong, male or female, they usually end up being a plot headache. Stakes vanish the moment they show up. Think of Gojo in JJK. Amazing, but the story literally has to sideline him so anyone else can matter. But Erza, different story. Every arc she's in, our eyes are locked on her. Tenru Island, she takes on Azuma in a fight that feels like life or death. Grand Magic Games, she wipes out 100 monsters in front of the entire arena like it's light work. And then there's the battle with her own mother, Irene, a clash that equal parts raw emotion and raw power. Here's the thing, Erza steps on screen, it's never, well, game over. She's insanely strong, but the tension still builds up. You're still invested. By the final season, she's arguably even stronger than Natsu, the main character, I think. And it still doesn't break the story. That balance, the ability to be overpowered and yet keep the plot alive, is rare. And it's exactly what makes Erza the blueprint for how anime bad should be written. And strength alone doesn't define her. What really flips the script is Erza's role in the story itself. Because unlike most female characters, she's not written to sit on the sideline. Erza isn't just a support character, and she's definitely not anyone's side love interest except Jalal. To see why that matters, you got to look at the typical feminine protagonist in anime. 9 times out of 10, she's either a love interest whose whole job is to motivate the main guy, like Keiko in Yu Yu Hakusho. Great character, great show, but let's be real, Keiko only exists to push Yusuke's story forward. Or she's locked into a support role, like Orihime in Bleach. Yes, she heals the squad, yes, she cares about Ichigo, but rarely is she in the thick of it of the fight, and she cannot for the life of her hop off with Ichigo's. Erza smashes both of these tropes. She's not waiting on the sidelines, she's right in the chaos every single time Fairy Tail gets into trouble. And when she fights, it isn't filler, it's must-watch anime material. Erza's not a healer, not a plot device, not a secondary piece, she's a leader. And for a series that started in the early 2000s, when most female characters were stuck in the background, that separation put her leagues above her peers. And beyond her power and her role, there's another layer to Erza, the emotional weight she carries. Because Erza isn't just the sword of Fairy Tail, she's its heart.
今まで見たことのないくらいに美しい黄色に染まっていた。エルザの髪の色のように温かく情熱的に。
Erza has one of the most heartbreaking backstories in all of Fairy Tail. She was born to an estranged mother, Irene Belsirian, who was far more concerned with surviving as a dragon slayer than raising her own child. As a result, Erza was abandoned and left to grow up as an orphan. Her suffering didn't end there. She was later enslaved and forced to work on the Tower of Heaven, a structure intended to resurrect Zera, the darkest mage in history. Everything she endured left deep scars, and the most visible ways this trauma helped shape her is through her armor. Erza doesn't wear armor just for combat, it's her way of feeling safe. It's a physical manifestation of her emotional shield, protecting her from the atrocities she experienced after the Tower of Heaven incident. Another layer of complexity in her character is her relationship with Jalal. He was the boy who offered her hope during her darkest days, inspiring a rebellion against her captors, but tragedy struck when Jalal was manipulated by Zera's influence, turning from her closest ally into her enemy. After being defeated by Natsu, he lost his memory and spiraled into an identity crisis. Despite all of this, Erza's bond with Jalal remains one of the most defining and emotional threads in her character arc, highlighting just how much her past continues to shape her future. And that's the beauty of Erza. Despite all of this, she never let it strip away from her identity. She's not just the girl in the armor or the warrior with scars. She's still allowed to be bold, radiant, and yes, even sexy. Which brings us one of the most underrated parts of her character. Erza isn't forced to choose between feminine and being fierce. She's both. My fourth point. Erza is the rare balance of being both feminine and fierce. Most anime split this down the middle. If a female character is powerful, she's usually stripped of her sex appeal. If she's sexy, then 9 times out of 10, she's reduced to fan service, basically drawn for the manga to have a handful like we were discussing earlier. But Erza, she walks the tightrope perfectly. One arc she's delivering electrifying battles, cutting through enemies like a force of nature. The next, she can steal the spotlight in a fan service moment without losing her dignity or her edge. That balance of strength and allure makes her not just entertaining, but iconic. And it raises the bigger question, is Erza the exception, or should she be the standard of how female anime characters are written? But Erza's strength isn't just how she balances power and femininity, it's how she uses that strength for others. Because beyond the armor, beyond the fan service, Erza is the one who holds Fairy Tail together. Erza is the ultimate backbone of Fairy Tail. At this point, we're entering Glaze territory, because she isn't just a fighter, she's the guild's mother figure. Her actions speak for themselves. She's the only one who can shut down Natsu and Grey when their beef gets out of hand. She threw herself in front of Phantom Lord's attack just to protect Lucy, and when Makarov was gone, she stepped up as the 7th guild master without hesitation. That resume is stacked, and let's be real, very few female characters in anime history have been written with this level of authority. Maybe Tsunade comes close. Check my video on her, link in the description. But Erza is in a league of her own. And the truth is, it's this mix of protector, leader, and warrior that cements her as more than just a great female character. It makes her one of the greatest anime characters, period. In conclusion, Erza is the blueprint. She's what an overpowered character should look like. Not just some love interest, not just support on the sidelines. She rose from a traumatic backstory, mastered the balance of being strong and sexy, and became the backbone of Fairy Tail itself. So what's the lesson here? Simple, girls can run the world. And yes, this is my performative male campaign into full effect. I need more female viewers on this channel to be real with you. But for real, Erza proves women in anime can embody all the best traits: power, depth, emotion, leadership, without losing what makes a great character in the first place. And this is powerful when you look at female characters across all genres and even just in life. But once again, my name is AOI-KUN and this is my synopsis.